This season, our Lenten Lunches will have keynoters featuring grace. And looking at it from a variety of aspects, we're really thrilled today to have Stephen Hinkle bring our first keynote. Stephen is married to Trista Hinkle and is the father of two fine young men, Merrick and Asher. He was born and raised in Nicholasville, Kentucky, and he came all the way from Nicholasville to Danville by way of Florida and Texas and all kinds of states when he was in the security forces of the United States Air Force. He is First Christian's Youth Ministry Director and Facilities Administrator. He's a graduate from Campbellsville University with a degree in Pastoral Ministries. And so it's our joy this afternoon to receive Stephen Hinkle.
All right, good day. Like he said, my name's Stephen, and I'm the Youth Ministry Director here. I'm happy to be with you, although the dessert table back there in the back makes me a little upset because I gave up sugar for Lent. So, today I would like to talk to you about grace, humility, and pride. According to the Bible, grace is a gift from God that is particularly accessible to those who are humble. The common phrase is, God gives grace to the humble. Most notably found in James 4:6, which states, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. You might wonder, what is the meaning of grace? Grace refers to God's undeserved favor, a gift given freely to humans despite their shortcomings. Humility is a prerequisite for grace, because one must be humble to recognize their own need for grace. Let's think about Jesus as our model. What are some ways he showed humility and selflessness? One way he practiced humility was washing the disciples' feet. That was considered a servant's duty, and this showed Jesus' willingness to humble himself and serve others. He also did it by living a simple life. Jesus did not seek wealth or luxury, choosing to live among the poor and the marginalized. He reached out to the outcast. He interacted with sinners, lepers, and societal outcasts, showing compassion and acceptance without judgment. He taught about service. Jesus emphasized the importance of serving others, putting their needs first, saying, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. That's Matthew 20:26. Another Bible verse about serving is Mark 10:45. Jesus says, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. Jesus gave a new definition of greatness, where the greatest among us is the servants. Last was he accepted the cross and endured suffering and death on the cross for the sake of humanity as the ultimate example of selflessness. How do we apply or show humility in our overall lives? First, by recognizing our dependence on God. We are not self-sufficient, and true humility comes from acknowledging our need for God's grace. Oh crap, there we go. Also, by serving others, we put our needs above others. We're putting the needs of others above our own, actively seeking opportunities to help and uplift others. We can also confront pride, identifying areas in our lives where pride might be present and actively working to overcome that. And then we got humility and leadership, leading with a servant's heart, prioritizing the well-being of those under our care. What are some practical ways to cultivate humility in your daily life? First off is to be grateful. Practicing gratitude by writing down things you are thankful for each day. One thing that my wife has made me do more often is whenever I get road rage, I have to name something I'm grateful for. So far it's been, at least I'm in a car driving. Next you got serve others, volunteer, help friends and family, or be kind and compassionate. We have ways to serve people in our community here. Soups on Us is a great example, serving others a wonderful meal. And in fact, it's this Saturday, so if you guys at 7:30, and I think it's in the chapel still, even with the setup. But if you guys want to come in and help, that'd be great. Then we could ask for help. Be open to asking for advice and guidance from others. A big issue with this is pride. Proverbs 16:18 states, Pride goes before destruction, and arrogantly superior spirit before the fall. It basically means humble yourself or face the consequences. Seek feedback. Learn to accept critical feedback and learn from it. Actively listening to the feedback without defensiveness, analyze its validity, identifying actionable areas for improvement, and actively working on implementing changes based on the feedback received. And another one is you could stop comparing yourself to others. You can focus on competing with yourself instead of others. Focusing on competing with yourself instead of others means to prioritize personal growth and improvement, measuring your progress against your own past performances rather than comparing yourself to others and what their achievements are. Essentially, striving to be better than your previous self, not necessarily better than anyone else around you. Next, we could be open-minded, listen to others, and be open to their input. Don't just say, "I hear you, dude," but apply the feedback to your life and see where it takes you. Give credit to others. Praise others, give them credit for their work. Be specific about their contributions. Highlight their unique skills and acknowledge their efforts with sincere compliments, ensuring your praise is genuine and tailored to the individual and their specific achievements. Next, you develop self-awareness. Recognize your flaws and look beyond your accomplishments. Admit when you are wrong, apologize and accept fault. Practice humility and prayer. Pray for humility and ask for help in cultivating a humble heart. How does pride hinder our relationship with God and others? First, it disconnects us from God. When we are prideful, we believe we can handle things on our own, rejecting the need for God's guidance or grace, and essentially putting ourselves above God's authority. It also impairs empathy. Pride can make it difficult to see things from others' perspectives, leading to a lack of compassion and understanding. And it also tends to create defensiveness. A prideful person might become defensive when criticized, refusing to acknowledge their mistakes and hindering healthy communication. It typically promotes self-righteousness. Pride can lead to a sense of superiority, judging others harshly and believing we are always right. And it hinders reconciliation. When someone is prideful, they might struggle to apologize or admit fault, making it difficult to repair damaged relationships. It says, what are the dangers of seeking reconciliation or praise from others rather than from God? First, you got your low self-esteem. When your self-worth is tied to external praise, not receiving it can lead to a feeling of inadequacy and low self-esteem. You have people-pleasing tendencies. To gain approval, you might prioritize others' needs over your own in an unhealthy way, leading to unhealthy people-pleasing tendencies. Anxiety and insecurity. Constantly seeking validation can create anxiety about having others perceive you as leading or in fear of criticism and rejection. Difficulty making decisions. Relying on others' opinions can make it hard. Then you have distorted self-perception. You might start to believe that you are only valuable when others praise you, leading to inaccurate self-image. Then you have unhealthy relationships. You seek validation and can lead to manipulative behaviors in the relationships, as you might try to control others to gain their approval. And last, you got burnout. The constant need to impress others can be exhausting and lead to emotional or physical burnout. Once you've hit this point, you are no longer helpful to others or yourself. And so remember, God rested on the seventh day, and so you need to rest sometimes. Biblical perspective. As a reminder, these are the verses we covered today. Proverbs 16:18. Pride goes before destruction, and an arrogantly superior spirit before a fall. This verse is just warning us against arrogance and pride. James 4:6. God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. This verse is a part of a passage in the Bible that encourages Christians to submit to God and resist evil. And in Mark 10:45, for even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. This verse explains that Jesus' mission was to serve others and die to free people from sin. And last, we have Matthew 20:26. Whoever wants to become great among you must be a servant. Jesus said to this to emphasize that those who serve others are the greatest, not those who are arrogant or prideful. To receive God's grace, one must acknowledge their own limitations and be dependent on God, which is embodied by humility. Practicing humility can help you open the new possibilities and make the most out of opportunities. Please join me in prayer. Dear God, we come before you today, humbly asking for your grace to cultivate a heart of true humility. Remove any pride or arrogance from our lives and replace it with a deep awareness of our dependence on you. Help us to see ourselves as you see us, recognizing our flaws and shortcomings while appreciating the gifts you have bestowed upon us. Guide us to serve others with a selfless spirit, to listen more than we speak, and to prioritize the needs of others above our selfish wants. May our actions reflect your love and compassion, and may we always walk with a humble heart. Amen.